Hello?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
You're listening to the only podcast that admits they might know what they are talking about.
Sounds like something a guy in a van would tell me.
This is We Might Know Sports.
I love you! Come on!
With Kevin.
Don't listen to Stefan and his prep rules.
Stefan.
Fuck Philly.
And Corey.
I hope everyone has a ball.
We like sports and we don't care who knows.
Trubisky sucks. I don't know if he sucks. He sucks. I don't know if he sucks.
You have Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel, and Ty Burton, and you suck.
I don't know if he sucks. He sucks. He's not getting the job done right now. Okay.
And here we go.
Wait! Trubisky sucks.
Episode 89. We Might Know Sports. Great intro, Kevin. Love it.
Yeah, I found that one pretty hilarious as I watched back or listened back to the episode from last week. I was like, oh, I got a perfect thing for it.
I'm glad you're finally stepping your game up as a producer.
I got all this time without being the head host anymore.
I feel like we gave the fans a classic episode last week.
That was a good one.
Longest episode.
Also the longest, yes.
Yeah. That was, crazy long.
But you can't stop greatness. You got to let it roll.
When the Bracket Boys come to town, you know it's going to be a long episode.
Still got to produce that hit theme song.
Yeah. We're working on it. Work in progress. Big week, as always. Lots more NFL action. I didn't get to catch much of it. Hope you guys got to cut more of it than I did.
Literally watched football all day.
Must have been
long.
Nice.
Couch potato on Sunday.
I didn't even take a lunch break on Sunday. So I didn't even really have... When I went to the bathroom, that was about the only time I had a chance to check my phone to see what was going on in the NFL world. But I did get to watch some of the Sunday night game, some of the Monday night game. Came out victorious in fantasy football. I'm happy. Eagles won, even though I didn't watch them win, but they won. Also happy. You know, you guys talking all this shit about your team's going 2-0 last week, and now look, we're all the same record again. So all that shit talking went away real quick. So yeah, we're all on the same page again. Welcome back, guys.
Well, in my case, I finally played a real team.
and Fitzmagic, as he quoted it, I think at halftime. And now, for his greatest trick, he will disappear. But then he also pulled another trick. Kudos to Fitzmagic. Multiple tricks in one game.
I believe he is the first quarterback to throw 400 yards in the first 3 games, something like that.
Yeah, first quarterback to throw 400 yards and lose a game, maybe?
Like I said, though, he reappeared in the second half, so unfortunately he dug himself too deep a hole in the first half.
Voila. Him and every one of those. Jesus Christ. It was a team loss. Team effort.
Kicker problems as usual.
I was severely torn towards the end of the game, seeing how I was facing off against, I believe it's Jabu Lifts a lot, who has like almost every Tampa Bay player on the team.
More of a diehard Tampa Bay than you, apparently.
Sure, if you want to call it that.
Well, it's working out for one of them.
True.
Needless to say, that last possession they had, I was like, just throw it to OJ Howard. Because he's the only Buck player I had going. So, never been so torn for a loss or a win. It's like, well, they'd be 3-0, but I wouldn't. But I am. So here we are.
I didn't care who won that game. Once I got all my points I needed in fantasy by the end of the first half, I was good. I didn't care who won.
I didn't care who won either way before the game started.
I mean, I was just happy to see the Bucks come back to earth a little bit, but
I wasn't. I wanted the magic to continue. I wanted it to.
you know the magic never continues. It does not go on for more than,
I don't know.
4 games at a time.
Every time I see David Blaine.
Here's the thing: is David Blaine is amazing, by the way.
Right. That's what I mean. He's just
Side note.
He's always on.
David Blaine is amazing. Anyways.
But you can't guess what's on next week's opener.
Fitzpatrick, though, he has this habit of, like, when he gets that big payday, when he gets named, he's the starter from here on out. That's when he fizzles away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like whenever he's, like, fighting for that spot, he's, like, or fighting for that money. But as soon as he, like, gets it, then he's just like, no, I'm just the shit. And it probably had a lot to do with, his little post conference he had last week. He got a little too cocky with that, borrowing Deshaun Jackson's chains.
You
and whatnot.
never see David Blaine brag.
No, David Blaine does not brag.
He does not brag.
No, when you're that good, you just gotta be humble.
By the way, David Blaine.
Oh,
Shout out to Kendrick Lamar.
Hold on. Did you just say when you're that good, you have to be humble? When have you ever been humble? So obviously you're not that good.
About what?
I don't know. You're
everything. I mean, I'm great at most things.
You're not humble though. That's for sure.
I'm not humble at all.
Admitting you're great at most things, though.
Yeah.
Because, but you're not humble.
I regretted what I was saying. All right.
You can make sure you put that in the intro.
All right. You guys are just gonna have to have the rest of the show without me.
If you had like a huge party and your first guest that you can invite, don't you think it'd probably be David Blaine to keep the entertainment going?
What about that other magician there?
Chris Angel?
Yeah.
I guess it depends
What
on what
about
you
Penn
like.
and
I feel
Teller?
like Chris Angel does
He's like more like dark.
and he makes things like he's good with I don't know, like making things disappear, like large objects. Like I'll make this elephant disappear. Where Blaine's amazing with card tricks.
Yeah,
that's like his go-to.
I really want to learn like a card trick, magic trick, and just like bring a deck of cards with me to the bar and use it.
That's
like
what I mean. That's why I
use it as like a pickup line.
If you had David Blaine at your party, it couldn't go bad.
No, it can't go bad. Everybody's gonna be amazed, and it's gonna be like the best party ever.
Yeah.
But I just kind of want to learn how to do it on my own.
No. Yeah, I kind of would rather have
Just
Penn and
fuck
Teller.
David Blaine. Let me do this shit. Let everybody be intrigued by me.
See, I want Penn and Teller. That way, they'd explain to me what was going on.
That's like against the magician code.
I don't
You're not really supposed to do that.
Do they explain what David Blaine's doing?
I don't know if they explain. They just explain like how certain magic tricks are done. Not necessarily how like one person's doing their magic.
A magician just won America's Got Talent this year. Yeah.
Shout out to magicians. I think it's undervalued. I mean,
it's an underappreciated entertainment.
Very underappreciated. That and like clowns for kids parties, I feel like are underappreciated. I feel like people get creeped out by them.
I was gonna say, I feel like they're appreciated on the right amount of level.
I saw something on Facebook that apparently, remember like when that whole craze of like the creepy clowns like walking around? Apparently it's making a comeback. And I want to see one. I
do too. I've never seen one.
But I've also seen some videos of some really creepy experiences, so I kind of don't like I don't know.
They can't be arrested, right?
Like, dress up as a clown and just go somewhere and just chill.
I feel like you're allowed to do it.
I mean, nobody can stop you.
Right. It's just creepy.
Yeah. People like it's so weird. Like people get like so freaked out about clowns.
Shout out to the Terrifier on Netflix too, about a creepy clown named Al that goes around and just butchers people.
Never heard of it. Sounds interesting.
Netflix original. It's just a gore movie. It's horrible, but it's if you like watching people get butchered.
Speaking of Netflix, for all you making a murderer, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Season 2 coming up. Part 2.
Part 2.
Apparently, there's a lot more information to be told. Still in jail, so I don't know what the fuck the point of it. Like, he's not going
The
anywhere.
kid got out, though.
I don't think he did.
Oh, I thought he did. Did he get revoked?
I thought they were, like, close to getting him out, but I don't know if they actually
Brandon Dassey, right,
Yeah.
is his name? We're trying to get him out because he doesn't have the intellect. Basically, like, he was coerced into...
Yeah, I really do think he was coerced into it, but I'm sure they'll get it. They're supposed to be following, basically, like, both those defense teams and, like, kind of, like, telling those stories. And all the... Like, they had, like, different... Like, found, like, new evidence and all this shit. Should be interesting.
Should be.
I'll watch it.
Should be.
Let's get into some actual sports stuff now, since that's what we kind of focus on here. Talking about Kevin's questions of the week. Last week's question: who had a better first 2 weeks, Ryan Fitzmagic or Patrick Mahomes? Fitzmagic wins out, 57% to 43%.
Surprising, considering Mahomes has the most touchdowns.
Not surprising, because like I explained to you, you didn't know what you were getting with Patrick Mahomes. So, like, he plays good. Like, it's surprising to me because I told you I didn't think he was going to play good. It was surprising to me. But I also know Fitz magic, and I know what he's all about.
You mean you know Fitzpatrick?
No, I know. Yeah, I know Fitzpatrick, not Fitzmagic. Yeah, I know all about Fitzpatrick, and he is not what Fitzmagic is.
No.
We've seen glimpses of Fitzmagic.
1 year with the Jets.
Even with Buffalo, before he got his payday, he was looking decent.
Wish I could say the same when he played for the Bengals. Nope, got Fitzpatrick the whole time. Thanks a lot, bud.
It was too early. Too early in his career. He wasn't mature enough.
Fresh out of Harvard, he was still doing numbers and stuff.
He was still working with David Blaine, trying to figure out all his magic tricks. So, gotta give him time. Now he's basically on his own, doing magic.
Now he basically just levitated for 2 weeks and came back down.
Came back down. This week's question is kind of a homer question for all our Syracuse listeners. Are you taking the over or under for Syracuse at Clemson, which is set at Clemson? 23 points.
Yikes. Gonna be a close one.
How's it look so far? You got the percentage up right now?
So before I give you percentages, I want to just mention Syracuse has yet to score under 30 points in their first 4 games. And
but you're acting like so you're saying Clemson can't put up 53 or 60 points against them.
I'm just saying.
So they put up 30, 60.
Syracuse is averaging more points per game than Clemson right now. Both actually have had pretty good defenses. And as weird as this may sound, I was listening to a college football expert say that this is like Clemson's last game that's gonna be a tough one for them. So I can only imagine this line's gonna be growing here for the rest of the season for them.
All right.
So I do have some. I have a couple votes, actually more than a couple. I have 7.
Wow.
And Corey is not one of them, so there's that.
Of course not. Corey never votes.
Right now,
I voted last week.
Yeah. Right now we are at 29% Dabo Sweeney dancing, or Clemson by at least 23 points, and 71% Cuse keeps it at least under or wins it. Homer.
I think too many people are on the hype train of Syracuse right now.
Is it hype? Or...
I think it's hype. It's hype. Realistically, they played one decent team, Florida State. Who
are they decent?
Right, arguably decent. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to get a gauge on them because they haven't played like that top level talent yet. I'm not saying that they. I mean,
so are you admitting...
I think that they realistically could keep it underneath that.
Are you admitting it's hard to gauge a team that's undefeated?
No. I don't know where you're going with that.
Oh, you know where I'm going with that.
No, I don't.
I think we'll talk more college football with Joe because I'd love to hear his input into Stefan's...
Don't want to hear his input.
But I will say there is a hope. It's been done before. They did it last year. And also, I mean, it's a different feeling from people because they're actually winning games like they should. And
I feel
that's
like
where it's got to start, I think.
Yeah, I feel like if Syracuse can maintain, basically clock control, if they are successful running the ball, they might be able to keep it within 23 and maybe pull off the miracle.
I mean, I honestly, as much as I'm going to shit on Syracuse and go with Clemson on this, as you guys know, I don't even have them in my top 2. So I don't think the AP poll has them in their top 2 either.
Who?
Clemson. But I'm not a fan of Clemson anyway. Pretty much every year I'm not a fan of Clemson. But
you don't like the orange?
No, it's just
he doesn't like orange or purple. Don't you?
Because Kevin always like tries to. He has them as his number one like every year, and
it all started
because they never lose, so he never has to drop them until they finally lose like some random game later in the year.
It all started because of Clemson versus Alabama, Stefan. Come on, go back to our roots. I will say Stefan has a hatred towards orange and purple. Remember last week's episode, he didn't like the Vikings at all. I mean,
he's the only one who picked the Bills to win that game.
Yeah.
What?
Just kidding. I know you didn't pick the Bills.
Definitely did not.
You and nobody else.
No, I don't even...
What was... I think the odds were...
Obviously, Vontae Davis was the bad apple.
Yeah.
You know those Survivor leagues. I know you... I think you guys got screwed over in a bunch of your Survivor leagues. I believe 57% of people got knocked out of ESPN's.
Yeah, I heard
because
about
of
that.
the Bills game.
I got knocked out week 1 of my Survivor League when the Bucks beat the fucking Saints.
And I lost when the Jets beat the Lions. But the Lions, of course, want to rebound and beat the Patriots. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Fucking ridiculous. This season is just a shit show already.
I love it. Dream.
Kevin, you want to talk about Pittsburgh versus Tampa?
No, I don't really, but I guess.
Or do you want me? I'll talk a little bit. I didn't watch the Philly game.
Why don't you just go into your takeaways? It kind of leads into the.
No, I'm going to talk about some of the stats and stuff. I mean, Wentz didn't look like as great as last year.
With a QBR of 39.3, nah, he didn't look great.
But I mean, you look at his numbers: 25 of 37, 255 yards.
What hurt him?
There's the sacks. Yeah, he got sacked 5 times. I mean,
was that because he lost mobility with the injury, or is that because his receivers didn't get open?
Honestly, I saw some of the highlights, and he looked as mobile as ever. Like I was kind of worried about how mobile he would be, but watching the highlights, like he looked mobile to me. Like he was, because I thought he'd be more hesitant to be mobile.
He was diving for first downs. I saw one of those.
So I don't think that's really a factor. I think it's just, there's probably the receivers not getting open. Honestly.
Probably that rookie linebacker for the Colts all up in his ass.
That too.
That happened. 2 sacks for that guy, I think.
Probably.
Sorry, not
no,
to
you're
take
fine.
it away. 2 sacks. Yes.
Yeah.
All open his
so,
face.
2 out of 5 of those sacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, their running game, they're kind of depleted right now, down to a couple of backups. I think even Corey Clement's hurt now. So
Great.
I don't know what they're going to do with the run game.
Wendell.
It's all about Wendell, I guess. Receiving wise, it was all about the tight ends. Receivers were nowhere to be found. Nelson Aguilar, 24 yards. I mean, come on.
My boy Dallas Goedert did.
They really need Alshon Jeffrey back.
Colts actually had a lead in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I was kind of confused because I think whenever you said something, like I had just checked my phone like 5 or 10 minutes before that, and I think we were like tied or the Eagles were winning or something, and I was like, what the fuck's he talking about? They're losing right now. But either way, we came out on top. I'm happy with it.
Win's a win.
Thing is, I mean, there was a lot of games last year with the Eagles that, I mean, they weren't like super impressive wins, but they just got the wins, you know? And I think this kind of the same. The only thing that kind of worries me is the defense, I feel like, isn't playing as well as it was last year. And so that kind of worries me.
Yeah, you held the Colts to 16. It's not like Andrew Luck lit it up either.
No, but I don't think that Andrew Luck's fully healthy. I'm going to be honest with you.
They put in...
Well,
they
put
put in
Brissett to throw the Hail Mary. Like, when you take out your starting quarterback to throw a 50-yard Hail Mary, like, that's saying something right there. Yeah. I don't think his shoulder is what it used to be. So, I mean, obviously he's still a great quarterback. I mean, but I don't think he is the same quarterback that he was. Other than that, though, wins will win. I'll take it. Going into my takeaways for this week, I'm just hoping that, takeaway number one, that Wentz can kind of right the ship here. The offense has been kind of stagnant. It's his first week back. I think that, as he gets back into the swing of things, he should start ramping things up. Hopefully once he gets all his receivers and running backs healthy, should help out the offense a lot. Takeaway number two.
Hold on a second. Before you move on.
Want to comment?
I didn't notice this until maybe ESPN's malfunctioning, but was Andrew Luck the Colts' leading rusher with 10 yards?
Mm-hmm.
No?
33 yards. 33 yards, yeah.
Oh, all right. Still.
He had a 33-yard rush. That was their leading rusher, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Probably should have kept Frank Gore and just ran him into the ground.
Frank Gore looked better than Drake this weekend.
Frank Gore's always going to look better than anybody that he's on.
Drake's a better rapper, but Gore's definitely a better running back.
Wow.
And not flirting with underage
you heard
women.
Gore rap? You don't know. Maybe Gore can rap.
True.
But moving on to my second takeaway. Is Buffalo turning the corner now? Is Buffalo legit?
No, because Minnesota should be 1-2. They got lucky with that roughing the passer call that led to them winning the game. They shouldn't have even beat the Packers.
Who'd the Packers tie? Thought they tied the Packers.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Because
he just said
I said they shouldn't have beat the Packers. They shouldn't have even had a tie.
There you go. That makes sense. Okay. I don't remember who the Vikings.
Does that mean that they should have gotten blanked by the Bills? No, I agree with you there. I don't
know what happened with the Vikings. I don't know if they just went into the game. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm going to be honest. Like, I was, from the highlights I saw from Josh Allen, I mean, it looked impressive. I didn't really see a lot of his passes so much. It's a rookie. He's going to have growing pains, obviously. The one thing I worry about, though, is, I mean, we all know how this goes. Those quarterbacks that lay out and go after every single inch, it's going to end up getting hurt at some point.
The only one that never has is Cam.
He got hurt.
Yeah, but Cam's built like a fucking fullback.
Cam gets dinged, but Cam doesn't sit out games because of major injuries.
Cam's big injuries do. He's gonna come eventually.
He's had one or two. It hasn't been season long, but it's been
nothing big.
Yeah.
But I mean,
but he's a truck and he's a freak.
You got these quarterbacks, like, going into my last takeaway here, the whole roughing the passer thing, how they're trying to protect the quarterbacks and everything now. I mean, I don't know.
34 calls in 3 weeks. Last year was 16 calls in 3 weeks.
So they basically have doubled, which is obviously a problem.
Yes.
They need to fix that.
It's getting
they
to
said
the
they
point.
won't be changing it this year.
They said they're going to have a meeting about it.
Meeting, but nothing will be changed this year.
I don't know if they're going to change anything, but yeah.
It's getting to the point where players, I noticed in last night's game, where a player was already arguing with the ref, and the ref was like, no, it's being picked up. It's being picked up because he got, like, blocked into the quarterback, and they were going to call him for it. So it's getting pretty bad.
I saw one play. I don't know who it was or what team it was, where the guy got to the quarterback and like touched him.
Yeah, Pierre
was, like
Paul.
afraid to like actually tackle him and just like let him go. And the play kept going, and the quarterback threw the pass or whatever. And it's just like that's basically what it's gotten to. Is like people like they're afraid to tackle the quarterback. Like we're like you're either gonna tackle him and possibly get that 15-yard penalty, or you're not gonna tackle him and they're gonna make it a play.
Even the quarterbacks are starting to speak out on how ridiculous this rule is. I think Alex Smith was the latest. I know Aaron Rodgers has said some stuff.
Oh, and Ben Roethlisberger just after last night came out and spoke on it. He even admitted that half of them, I think he got called for 4 of them. He said half of those weren't, and I don't even know if 3 or more weren't.
Yeah, I texted you guys that he should get an Oscar because I think now quarterbacks are starting to play into it, and because they know they can get 15 yards.
Well, it's just like the NBA. I mean, you just got to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Once you sell it, you're
trying
good.
to crack down on that now. Last year they did a good job.
He gets tapped away in the head and falls straight to the ground. And it's like, what?
Was that the play you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like. It's not like it really phased him that much to get hit in the head. Like, come on.
It wasn't even that hard. Like, even the announcers
that's
were
what
like,
I'm saying. Like,
oh my god!
Like the penalty, regardless. Like, if you get hit in the head, like you can't hit the quarterback in the head.
Yeah.
So, but to act like that, like you didn't need, like.
Well, especially on my list of quarterbacks that are tough guys, Ben probably ranks number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, Ben is definitely top notch. Like, you don't see many quarterbacks tougher than him. But I really think that, and I mean, going back to Josh Allen, going and trying to get all these extra yards, hurdling over people, Supermaning into the end zone. I mean, just look at Jimmy G trying to get a few extra yards. Now he's got a torn ACL.
Jimmy Train's done.
Or what about that Miami defensive lineman trying to hold up from getting a roughing
his ACL?
And yeah, he tore his ACL. So
it's just like it doesn't make sense to me because you have these quarterbacks that are mobile, and that's why like the whole argument with Cam Newton has been for years. Like Cam Newton feels like he doesn't get the same treatment that somebody like Tom Brady would get because Tom Brady's not mobile. So Tom Brady takes these hits, and it's like
Cam already took a huge headshot this year. That was one of the big highlights.
But the problem is that Cam's gonna go until somebody stops him. Mm-hmm. Where Tom Brady's gonna go down the minute he like feels contact.
Well, on that play, Cam, to his credit, did slide, but it's hard. We have this conversation every year. How do you judge when the person's sliding and the defender launches himself? Yeah. Does he have time to stop?
And that's the big problem I have with the whole quarterback, the roughing the passer shit. Is like if you're already in the air and you're coming at the quarterback and you hit the quarterback, how are you supposed to stop yourself?
That's what Clay Matthews' argument is.
Like there's no chance. Like do people not realize like the science of like momentum? Like you can't just stop yourself midair and like.
Or what if
not land on them?
Not everyone's David Blaine.
Clay Matthews.
David Blaine needs to be
Please explain the science.
David Blaine needs to be an advisor to the NFL right now and like kind of
make it happen.
Teach all these linebackers and linemen. Like
if we're gonna start naming our episodes, by the way, this is definitely David Blaine.
David Blaine's episode.
I will just for you.
But yeah, no, I think the rule's ridiculous. I think that they need to do something. I mean, to not like land with all your body weight, like that just is a ridiculous rule to me. Like you can't help, like it just doesn't make sense. Like how are you supposed to stop yourself when you're? It's either that or you just like, or might as well just go 2-hand touch with quarterbacks. Like once you touch them with 2 hands, they're down because. At that point, I mean, that's all you can do to them. Mm-hmm. Like, there's so much effort into protecting the quarterback nowadays that, like, you can't do anything to them without a penalty.
It's the safest position in football now. I'd rather be a quarterback than a kicker.
Yeah. Kickers still get blasted when they're trying to block.
Still get blasted.
You do that to a quarterback when he's trying to run out for a block? That's all I got for my takeaways.
Go ahead, Kevin.
All right. Well, my first takeaway. Oakland is 3-0 in the first half. And then come second half, they finish the game 0-3. So Something's going on at halftime where they're not solving anything. It's great for me. I feel great.
Not looking too good for us.
Not looking good at all. They need to turn this around real quick, starting with the Browns.
They're home. Oakland's home at least. They may not even beat the Browns, but they're home.
If they don't beat the Browns, I'm just gonna do my shots now. Like after next week, like I'm not gonna play this game because 0-4, you might as well call it.
Then we're gonna have to worry about, do we have to take 16 shots or whatever it is?
True. Yeah.
Well, we picked a midway point, didn't we?
Yeah, 8-8.
So the most we could take is 8.
Yeah.
Still,
obviously, I wasn't fearful of them going 16-0. So
got that out of the
way. Speaking of defeateds, Arizona, Houston. Not really shocked by Arizona, but Houston just struggling to finish anything or come back. They have been in all 3 games, and they just can't seem to. I mean, it's great for my fantasy team because Watson's throwing the ball a lot, and he gets me at least 20 points now. So it's like, all right, it's a win for me. But I feel bad for Houston. I think their streak of hurricane luck is up. Maybe the Astros losing next week. We'll talk more about the playoffs next week, but I'm just saying. But are you guys really surprised that any of these teams?
Arizona, no. For me, no, because I had both Arizona and Houston as being bad this year. I'm surprised about Oakland, obviously. Mm-hmm. I had them at 10-6, so this is not the start I was looking for them.
I don't have so. I mean, I definitely expected Houston to be a little bit better. I thought Deshaun Watson was. Although, I mean, I even said it to you guys, I'm pretty sure that, Deshaun Watson might be a pretender and just got hot there for a little while, and I wasn't really sold on him. But at the same time, I was like, he looked legit.
I still don't think he's a pretender, but I found out because last year, you guys, know I had Houston ranked high. I was like all in on Houston because I thought they had a good defense, and I learned my lesson. This year, I said, no, they're going to suck because they didn't do anything to change that defense except get Tyrann Mathieu, and I didn't think that was going to change anything, and it hasn't. I mean, the Giants, who looked bad the first 2 weeks, just lit up the Texans. Eli looked like a superstar. Their defense is poor. That's going to be tough. You're going to need Deshaun Watson to just light it up to get wins, which last year he did do.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I mean, it's the same defense they had last year, and they were winning. I mean, they were in like a few shootouts there
where they lost, but they lost to New England and Seattle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think they're quite there. Oakland, I'm surprised. I thought that. I mean, apparently losing to Khalil Mack made all the difference. I mean, not that they were great last year with him, but I think Derek Carr, I guess they've lost too much. They lost Crabtree. They lost.
Yeah, but apparently Jordy Nelson's healthy. 156 yards and a touchdown.
Did he? Solid. What did Amari Cooper do? Nothing?
19 yards?
Yeah.
He's a bust. Right. It's apparently over for him.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Martavis Bryant even looked better.
That's why I never ever draft Amari Cooper. Because he doesn't do anything. He'll have one random game where he goes off.
Week 2, he had 103 yards.
Yeah, and then he does nothing the rest of the year.
If you want to know how I know these stats off the top of my head, I was the moron that drafted him on another team.
You don't get 95 points week 1 for nothing. The undefeateds, also the second part of my other this takeaway. LA Rams, not too big of a shocker. They kind of went all in on this year, so not too surprised with them. But no one was expecting Mahomes to ball out like he is. And then Tannehill and the Dolphins, 3-0.
Woo! Yeah. Who the hell they played? Because that's going to decide if I really think they're legit or not.
Well, they beat the Titans.
Yeah.
I'm looking up the other two.
That wasn't this past week,
No,
though.
the Titans just beat
Yeah,
the Jags.
I was going to say.
Yeah, that was week 1. That was that 7-hour game that was like they beat Oakland.
Rain delay.
Oh, I had a rain delay.
They just beat Oakland this past week, and they beat the Jets.
So nobody.
So nobody, yeah. So I'm not sold on them. I mean, obviously, wins are wins, you know.
I think I have them losing their first game this week.
Well, yeah, they're playing the Patriots.
Spoiler.
Not that the Patriots have played great this year, but I think, I don't know.
The Patriots just lost to the Lions, Corey. Just remember that.
I'm well aware. It's one of my takeaways.
That's still what, the Lions and the Jaguars.
Yep.
Jaguars, okay. Jags are
Jaguars
pretty
is
decent.
legit. Well, that's a legit loss.
Mm-hmm.
Lions is remain to be seen. I don't know if the Lions were just
The only thing
starting
I
off
give
slow
it,
or
the only thing I give them credit is their former defensive coordinator.
Right.
So I'm
Yeah.
giving him. Knows their offense.
right.
It's kind of like Tampa Bay over Oakland in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, some cheap ass shit.
So what's no one talking about?
Yeah.
So it's crazy how I came up with this because I'm like, what's something we haven't heard at all this year so far, or this season, I should say. And it was all the talk during the off season, especially when the owners made a rule about kneeling. And do you see anyone kneeling? You hear anything about kneeling? Because no one cares. If you don't publicize it, no one's going to talk about it. Holy shit. We've done this for 3 years. And finally, it's all calm.
It's because
Is anybody kneeling though? I don't even know if anybody.
That's what I mean. No
Marshawn
one's
kneels.
Does he?
Marshawn Lynch still kneels.
no one's
But they
talking
aren't
about it.
publicizing it.
Yeah.
Because Kaepernick has been tweeting out every week like shout outs to all the guys that are still kneeling. But I was also going to say I don't even think Cap really cares because he just cashed out.
Well, yeah. No, I definitely. The media feeds so much of this fire. Even last year, they got caught like trying to say that like some of the Eagles players were kneeling or something, or they weren't. There was some like something that they said, and basically it was like no, that was like there was like Eagles players that were like no, that never happened, and they like showed like old like clips or something to make their story basically. And it was like, no, really, none of that ever actually happened during that game.
It was like the
And
guy
they got
bending
called
over
out.
to pick up his contact and like, look at he's kneeling.
Yeah, and so they ended up having to like apologize, like to whatever news station it was, and they basically, you know, it's all about views for the news. Like
I know, like NBC would before the Sunday night, they would have like a list of all the players that knelt that day.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's like you
Why
don't
do you
need
have to do
that. Why?
right?
No, this year it seems like an effort to not show it before. I don't even really. I'm not recalling seeing the national anthem like we did all of last year anymore.
I know ESPN announced at the beginning of the season they're not showing the national anthem. So
And there we go.
That'll do it. That pretty much solves the problem right
It
there.
solves the problem.
There you go.
That's what everyone was asking for last year.
Yeah, like if you just don't show the national anthem, you don't have to worry about it.
Only the
that.
people that go to the games will see the kneelers.
Right.
they didn't show the national anthem, and I believe in the first 3 weeks, ratings are up for the NFL. Look at that.
Yeah.
What?
And ESPN's cashing out too, because you know what? They're banking off of the NFL doing good. So
One thing I will talk about is what Fox is talking about. Fox Sports is talking about how the Thursday games are great this year because it's on Fox. They're still garbage. You still got like
Yeah.
Except this week.
this week's actually
Minnesota, LA.
Yeah.
Is it though after Minnesota?
I don't know because you just heard me bash Minnesota.
I still think Minnesota's legit, but
You got Colts, Patriots, Eagles, Giants, and then you go Broncos, Cardinals, Dolphins, Texans.
these are like later games you're talking.
Yeah. Raiders, Niners.
Eagles Giants is always an interesting game.
Yeah, all the
Panthers,
rest of those are
Steelers.
trash, though.
Saints,
49ers are going to be
Cowboys,
garbage now.
Jags, Titans.
That actually could be good.
Make
That's
a
a revenge
rematch, yeah.
game.
Yeah. And then this one is a divisional one. So I skipped a couple that were divisional, so those will be good. But, I mean,
Yeah, divisional games on Thursday. I feel like every Thursday
that's
game
what they
should be a
should do.
divisional game.
Yeah. If you want drama.
Right. I don't think there should, like, I think if you're going to do Thursday games, make every Thursday game a divisional game.
Mhm.
No matter what, you got to figure out the schedule to make every Thursday game a divisional game.
Cincy's was divisional. They had to play Baltimore on Thursday.
Yeah. No, they do. They do a lot of them on
But that wasn't on Fox.
No, it wasn't.
They do a lot of them on Thursdays, but
Yeah.
I wish that they would just do all. Like
Every now they
Thursday
sprinkle
games.
in. They sprinkle in like a
I
Cowboys
think it makes.
Broncos.
I think it makes it more interesting, like because usually it's a short week, obviously for most teams, and it's just
like
usually
Panthers,
shitty
Steelers.
games all around. But if you make it a fucking game that matters, like this is a divisional game, like I just feel like they come out as better games.
Dolphins,
opinion.
Texans. Who wants to see that on a Thursday night? Come on.
No, I don't give a fuck
don't
about
know.
that.
Send that to London.
Mm-hmm. Can't wait till my London game. I don't even know if I'm working that weekend. Hopefully I am, because I don't want to wake up early to watch the Eagles. I think we're playing Jacksonville.
Of course you are. Jacksonville always plays over there.
Yeah, no. Are we though? I don't even know.
I'll look it
Did we
up.
play Jacksonville this year?
You do.
Yeah.
The 28th of October.
I'm gonna try to figure it out real quick.
Wow. The NFL was nice. Because then you follow that up with a Sunday night game against the Cowboys 2 weeks later.
I am off that weekend. Damn. God damn it! Gotta wake up.
At 9:30?
That's early for me. Okay. On a Sunday. Not trying to get up that early. Corey, let's hear your 3 takeaways from week 3.
Well, we already touched on it a little bit. New England needs some help offensively. Tom Brady's not posting the numbers as of old.
Is this finally the cliff?
I think you're seeing it.
It's still
This
early.
was the right move by you then to not keep him.
He did this last year, though.
He's better than Dak. I should have kept him.
Facts. He's better than Dak. But you didn't draft Dak in the first round.
No,
Would you
no,
have?
no.
You would have kept him in the first round, second round,
Second.
second round.
And I didn't draft Dak in the second round.
You
so-
drafted him what, 4th or something?
Yeah.
Fifth?
No, I had Hopkins 4th, so like 5th.
Yeah.
No. There is a decline in Tom Brady, but I also think he needs some help. Some of his weapons that he had last year are missing. He needs Edelman back.
He's got Josh Gordon
Got
coming.
Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon didn't play this week.
Right, he didn't play. So, and they got rid of Deion Lewis. That's a big loss for them. Burkhead
James White's been doing well.
and the rookie Mickle.
Burkhead left the last game
Mhm.
injured.
And Mickle didn't look great.
They
White
brought
is
in-
good.
They brought in another running back, I thought.
Um,
They just opened up a spot for Kenyon Barner.
Okay. So they just seem out of sorts. Now there's all this controversy that popped up about Gronk being traded in the offseason, supposedly was going to be traded. Things just seem to keep popping up with that franchise, like all this hidden stuff, all this turmoil behind closed doors. So I just don't think they're going to hold it all together this year like they did last year. All in on the Mayfield hype. Top rated game for was it Thursday night
Yeah.
ever. 43% increase. People tuned in the second half to see Mayfield, and I'm buying in that he's at least going to win them some games this year. I don't think they're just going to win 1 or 2 games. I think they could win 4 or 5 games. So that's exciting. Happy for Cleveland. Finally have something to root for after all these years.
I'm
Hopefully
happy
he
my
stays
third
healthy.
quarterback is going to get me some points when you reach bye week.
Hopefully he stays healthy and doesn't implode like Johnny Manziel. Then my third takeaway, I don't have Steph in here to argue with him, but I'm saying the Rams are going undefeated.
Ooh. Let's look at the schedule.
November 4th, they go to New Orleans. That's a tough one. They also have to go to Seattle once, but Seattle doesn't look great this year. And then they have another game against a top team. Oh, Kansas City. But it's at home. It's in LA. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes can beat them.
Let's see here. The Rams are 6.5-point favorites for Thursday.
Yeah, they aren't losing this week.
I mean, Saints, you said that, but I don't. Chiefs.
Right, that Chiefs game, but it's in LA.
Still, depending on what Mahomes is doing. I mean, they're definitely going to beat the Eagles because they're hot garbage now that he's not here. They look like garbage this past weekend. If you're looking at just the scores, okay. But, I mean, you can't.
Well, even just the scores. I mean, none of us are too high on the Bengals, right? The Bengals put up 34 or something on the Colts.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Let's talk all the trash so we don't have to listen to this Super Bowl champ crap. But it's very hard for a team to go undefeated. Look at the Patriots. They were in their prime.
I know they did it once, and then obviously they lost in the playoffs, but they did do it.
They're not going to lose the Cardinals. I'm looking at their division, and
that's why that at Seattle game, because you know as well as I know, it's hard to win in Seattle.
And I can't,
even if Seattle's not good, they win there.
Yeah, I can't sit there and be like, oh, well, the Niners, because they just lost Garoppolo for the year, and now they have New Orleans' former backup starting.
I counted 3 games that are worrisome, and I think it's the at New Orleans, at Seattle, and then the Chiefs coming to them. If they get through, if it comes down to that Chiefs game, I think it gets real interesting.
Yeah.
Because the pressure's on, and I think they'll go for it though.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see with the Rams undefeated and the Chiefs and their past. If the Chiefs go 14-2, do they get out of the divisional playoffs?
I don't know. You never know with them.
We could see the Chiefs versus the Jaguars in the AFC Championship.
Right now, do you think it's the Chiefs and the Rams, the favorite for the Super Bowl?
Right now.
They can't play each other in the Super Bowl.
The Chiefs and the Rams?
Oh, Chiefs and Rams. Sorry, I thought you said... I was thinking you said Chiefs and Jags. Sorry. I don't know why.
I mean, there's a real
Rams can't play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know,
we didn't. Right now, they're probably the favorites. Right now, it's only 3 weeks.
We didn't pick our Super Bowl champion.
We didn't this year?
No.
So.
Huh. So. It's no fun doing it now.
No, now it's kind of cheating.
Why is it cheating? It's only 3 weeks in.
Still. We haven't gone over our picks yet from last week or this week.
All right, let's go over them.
I said the Rams are going undefeated this year, by the way.
You're fucking an idiot.
That's why I wanted to.
You're an idiot. I've lost a lot of respect for you in the past few days.
Last 24 hours. Jeez.
That's just a side note there. So, Kevin, rough week for you this week.
Continuing the streak of wins.
You did happen to pick, the Golden Boys, the Eagles, to win their game. So, kudos.
Golden Boys.
Other than that, though, kind of shit the bed. Me and Corey tied, going 4-1. Kevin, 1-4. Not really sure what the standings are here, but Kevin, one correct pick a week, so looking good.
Keeping that streak alive.
Staying consistent.
At least, hey, if you go 0-5, we made that bet.
Just need that one.
Sorry, but your 4-0 doesn't count, right?
Right.
Gotta go 5-0.
You have to go 5-0.
Gotta go 5-0.
What was the bet?
Shot, right? That's it.
Yeah.
Just one shot.
If you go 5, you have to take one. If
Or
you go,
chug a beer, shotgun a beer.
if you go 5-0, the other 2 have to take one.
So,
Corey's been flirting with that all the last 2 weeks.
Corey's looking good right now. Well,
Well,
except
so
for
week one, which we all looked wonderful.
So you got what?
That Falcons Saints game pissed me off so much. I had that in the bag. I was like, yes, Stefan's gonna have to eat crow because he was like, Falcons defense isn't gonna hold them down, which they didn't.
Yeah. No.
But the Falcons offense put up some points.
Surprisingly, yeah. Finally, the Falcons offense is coming alive again. Going into week 4, we've got 5 new picks for all of you. It's going to be a across the board, everybody jumping on the Falcons bandwagon.
Kevin's really trying to flirt with that one win again.
I just have a strategy with the Bengals.
You have a strategy
now.
of getting 1 win. That's your strategy. 1 pick right a week.
Maybe 2 this week.
He's probably going to get the Browns right. That's the only one he's getting right.
So you're admitting the Bucs is wrong and the Falcons is wrong?
No, I'm lying. He's going to get the Falcons one right, and that's it. That's all he's getting right. Game 1, Bengals at Falcons. Corey not buying into the Bengals.
No.
As a matter of fact, none of us are buying into the Bengals. Bengals have looked pretty good so far early on, but met some good competition last week and did not.
Dalton still threw for over 350 yards, but you can't get sacked 4 times and throw 2 picks. It's not going to.
I mean, can we agree though that their offense is looking decent?
It must. I think the offense is real. I just.
But didn't somebody else take over play calling this year or something? Yeah. So he's been doing a good job, I feel like.
Yeah. Tyler Boyd is coming into his own.
He's still a free agent, early. I've been flirting with the idea of picking him up.
He seems to be real.
Matthew Berry said to pick him up.
I think he's real.
I think I might make the reach.
Actually, Eifert showed up too. It was Green who was blanketed, which if you don't know by now as a defensive, I don't even know if you should have a job. So unless you have one of the top corners in the whole league, you're going to double AJ Green. But the big story was the defense, actually. Cam Newton did whatever he wanted. 2 rushing touchdowns through. Defense decided to take a break.
Sounds like you should have drafted Cam Newton instead of Dak Prescott.
My real favorite player. Probably should have.
Moving on to game 2. Bucks at Bears.
Mitch Trubisky sucks.
Mitch Trubisky sucks, but they're good. He's good enough to beat the Bucks, apparently, according to Corey. I wanted to pick the Bears, but
Mitch Trubisky sucks.
But Mitch Trubisky doesn't suck; just isn't getting the job done. I think he's got some growing to do, and I mean, their defense is legit. I think we can all agree on that. But I still believe, for some god-awful reason, in Fitzmagic. And I think that they're gonna...
I can feel the struggle internally.
He doesn't want to.
You don't even know.
He does not want to.
He wants to pick the Bears, but he's like, it's just... Something in his head is telling him not to do it.
You don't even know the struggle is going on inside of me.
I do.
Go with the Bucks.
And I understand.
Kevin, as well, as going with the Bucks. Corey, going with the Bears. Bear claw down.
Okay.
Game 3. Eagles at the Titans. I think this is just Kevin just being Kevin.
Trying to catch up, I think.
Is that what it is?
Playing catch up. Also, I like the Titans defense.
Surprisingly, they stopped. The Jags looked pretty good for the past, couple weeks. And they got held to 3 points for the whole game?
6.
9-6, right, yeah. So surprisingly, That's not the worst pick I've ever seen by Kevin. I've seen much worse. The
problem is
coming soon.
The problem is the quarterbacks combined for 104 passing yards for the Titans.
Yeah, I mean,
and the Eagles actually have a decent defense.
the thing with Blake Bortles is you don't know what you're ever getting with him game to game. So, am I really surprised the Titans won? Not really.
And
It's also the first time I think they've lost without Leonard Fournette.
I was gonna say, what happens when the Jags get Fournette back? Though they might look.
Apparently, they're better without him. Though.
Yeah.
People tried like questioning him that like in an interview. They're like, "What do you have to say about
their record being better?
their
you?
record being better without you?" He's like, "What? Like, what are you even asking me right now?" Like, I can't stand some of the questions the media asks. Regardless, I don't think the Titans are good enough to beat the Eagles. This is not even a hometown pick. I'm sure you guys have seen me pick against the Eagles a few times. Maybe not as many as I should have, but
Not yet this year.
I haven't picked against them yet this year. They did burn me once, but I feel like they're on the up and up. We got Wentz back.
Up and up. They're 2-1.
The up and up right now. Listen, there's a lot of teams that are 2-1. We're all sitting pretty right now at 2-1. I'm okay with that.
See, you were on the up and up, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
I know. After a loss,
Except you're not on the up and up when you're coming off a loss. So you guys are on the down and up. Or the up and down. The up and down. That's what you guys are on. The up and down.
Well, you're on
Corey's
the down and
Eagles. Kevin, Titans. Me, Eagles. Moving on to game 4. Browns at the Raiders. There's no fucking way
the Raiders are going 0.
that the Raiders are going
0-4.
That's why I did it.
and giving the Browns their second win already of the season. There's no way.
Oakland
Not
0-4.
The only thing I'm worried about is Baker Mayfield actually looked pretty decent.
Good.
So I'm actually kind of worried that
Me too.
the Raiders could possibly.
I'm
go
not
1-4.
sold on that pick. That's a 50-50.
That's
game.
literally that's a toss-up game.
That's why I
Yeah.
picked this one. I was like,
Yeah.
this one can go
This
either
one
way.
could literally go either way. Hopefully, it just ends up being a blowout. Raiders all the way.
It's one less shot we have to do.
Going on to game numero 5 for all you Spanish-speaking fans. Dolphins at Patriots. Kevin is a believer in the Dolphins. Ryan Tannehill-led Dolphins.
He likes those wins over the Titans, over the other two scrubs that they played.
Even after we just went over who they actually beat, you still want to stick with the Dolphins.
Because we also went over who the Patriots have played and lost to.
They lost to the Lions and the Jags.
Yeah.
The Lions, who I think are actually a good team,
Who'd they
but
beat?
just played bad the first couple weeks. And the Jags are a good team. I figure that. See you later. I'm going to go home. I'm already home. I'm going to go downstairs and go to bed. But they're a good team.
They're
The
one
win they had
win.
is over.
The Texans by 7.
Okay. Win's a win. Listen,
He has to say that. The Eagles only beat the Colts by 4.
time out. I'm high on the Texans. I don't care that they're 0-3. I'm still high on them.
Like you are the Raiders?
They're going 11-5, or whatever I had them at. I got faith in them. They're gonna turn the season around. Sean Watson, MVP, probably. Yeah, they'll come back. Patriots. Edelman's not back yet, right? He's got one more game.
One more.
Damn it. Maybe the Dolphins.
Is
Maybe I should switch to the
Is
Dolphins.
Gordon's hamstring good?
I don't know. I think Gordon's just.
Being Gordon.
Riding in the wave.
I don't know what is going on with him, to be honest.
No, I don't trust people with 2 first names.
It's a legitimate.
This would be 2 last names.
That's why I don't like Josh Allen. I don't trust him.
Could be 2 last names.
It's 2 first names.
No, I've heard of David Josh. Ever heard
Oh,
of him?
you know him?
Yeah.
I've heard of the last name Joshua.
Basically the same thing. Anthony Joshua?
Right.
Anthony Josh.
Nobody calls
him You just shorten it up. It's just like you would shorten up like a Joshua whatever. Joshua Gordon, Josh Allen.
Joshua Tree.
How did that just happen?
A lot of Joshes.
Yeah. Regardless, Patriots will right the ship this week, regardless of what Kevin thinks. Dolphins with the aging Frank Gore. And Kenyon Drake, I think, is legit, but he got, as you said, out-carried, out-rushed.
He had 7 yards rushing and 5 yards receiving.
Drake? Wow. I didn't draft him this year. I had him last year.
Do we get to see you shotgun a beer, or what's going on here? Like,
oh, man, you're waiting. Geez. He did grab one.
I did grab an extra one.
I don't know if it was one he was prepared to shotgun, but... This is a long response, Kevin.
Do you want me to do our fantasy football power rankings after this too? So this is gonna get interesting.
It's real spicy.
It's a great week to be number 1, I guess.
Yeah. Excuse me. Fact check. Drake rushed for 3 yards.
Oh, 3 yards.
Oh,
and 7 yards receiving.
That's not bad.
That's better than what I said.
Gore only had what, like 8 yards?
I don't know. He outrushed him though. He had 12. Tannehill led the team. Jesus.
They only ran it 11 times.
Yeah.
How many throws?
That's because they were playing from behind. They really had to try to win. Only 23. Look at Derek Carr. He threw 39 times.
How did they outscore them when they only had like 30 offensive plays total?
Because even this dude, whoever Wilson is,
that's a receiver,
threw a touchdown.
Jesus Christ.
And Tannehill did throw for 289 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Wow. So apparently
it's
just about efficiency.
And only 23.
It's all about efficiency here. Like, all these people that are throwing it for 30, 50 times a game, like, you don't got to throw it that much. Just be efficient about where you throw it.
If you have 5 guys over 40 yards, you did your job.
This guy even caught a touchdown, that Wilson.
Yeah.
Caught a touchdown and threw a touchdown.
A 74-yard touchdown. Yeah. Jesus.
It's insane. Anyways, Kevin's probably going 1-4 again. I will even bet on that. You want to bet on it, Kevin?
Wow. So you're conceiving your Bucks pick is wrong.
I'll take that.
What do you want to bet?
Or your Falcons pick, one of them.
One of those.
What do you want to bet?
What do you want to bet?
You're the one that wants to bet.
We'll bet my
double or nothing.
My shotgun beer.
No, I want to see this. You're not
double or nothing. My shotgun beer.
You are not backing out of this.
What do you have to do this for? What do you have to shotgun for?
I don't even know. But I'm gonna do it regardless.
It's because of the Eagles loss.
Oh, the Eagles. Oh yeah, Eagles and Bucks.
Oh. Who is jamming out right now?
I hear that. Kind of digging it.
Is that Samantha?
Probably. She's probably working out or something. Do some yoga, maybe.
Yeah, she's all on this Better My Life kick right now.
Yeah. Are you jumping in on that?
No, I'm probably getting kicked to the curb.
I mean, it was nice knowing you. I mean, I'll still talk to you.
Still BFFs. You can
podcast together?
Can't podcast.
Still
You'll have to do
That's the end of that.
You have to get a good computer.
You have to go to your own location. But, I mean, I'll still text you every now and then. Probably not often. Can't be texting a deadbeat dad.
Going from a deadbeat dad to superhero dad, I guess. Well, easy.
Corey's a phenomenal dad. I'm not even gonna lie.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, no, I will bet you. How about this? I will bet you
a separate shotgun. How about that?
I will still do my shotgun. I will bet you an additional shotgun.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the shotgun. So basically, it's win-win for you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think you really have anything to lose in this bet. But if you lose, you have to shotgun.
Yeah, that's fine. If I go 1 or 4, 1 and 4.
If I lose or one shotgun. There we go.
We might have to go out and watch this Raiders game together because there's a lot riding on it at this point.
When is it? Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
4. It's a 4 o'clock.
Okay. I know I'm going for the Adirondacks this week. I don't know what time I'm getting back. But I should be back to watch some football. And I'm off Monday, so I'm looking to get shitty.
Keep that in mind.
That's your kind of game, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Shall we move on to college football now?
Can't wait.
Our favorite. Are we bringing in the expert?
Why does Kevin still
Did we
not
talk about this?
picking games?
Is the expert?
Sorry, I was on the wrong screen.
Do we have the expert this week, or is the expert
Yeah, he's coming. He said he'd shotgun one with you, but he doesn't have any beer in his fridge, so.
That's no fun.
All right, there we go. Watch this be all jacked up. Yep, there we go. Uh-oh. There we go. He said call anytime.
Apparently not this time.
You're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Definitely don't use it.
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
Your
Come on,
call
Joe,
has
please
been
answer.
Oh, we got it.
voice messaging.
Come on, Joe. We need you, man. We need you.
Oh, here we go.
That's the audience.
Hello, Joe.
Already used my 50-50. Ask the audience. I just got this phone a friend left.
Well, Stefan's about 3 deep, right?
Yeah. No. You're going on 4 deep.
Z had before.
Yeah.
All right.
Joe? Hello? Joe?
I'm here. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Here?
All right. So our poll came out this week, and it's highly controversial, mainly because of.
Because Corey has lost his shit.
I was gonna call him out.
Corey has lost his shit. Yeah, don't fill our beer because you're fucking insane.
Syracuse did make the top 25 at number 25. We also have newcomers of Texas, California, and Duke at 20. Also receiving votes, though, were Buffalo, BYU, Colorado, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, USC, Boise State, and last but certainly not least in Corey's book, North Texas.
I can't even with this podcast anymore.
If you're undefeated, I'm just putting you up there from now on.
Just don't even put a top 25 anymore.
How do you know that they couldn't beat Virginia Tech?
First off, Virginia Tech is trash. They just lost to who?
They're ranked.
Old
Didn't
Dominion.
Virginia Tech just lose to a fucking...
They lost to Old Dominion.
Yeah. So they're trash. I didn't rank them, I don't think. I hope to God I didn't rank them.
Someone...
I gotta double check. Oh, Jesus Christ, I did rank them.
Here you go.
No, it's because I had them pretty high, and I was like, a little slip up. I'll allow it. But
Oh, now it's allowed.
But regardless, I mean, all these teams could probably... Yeah, you're right. Any of these teams... I mean, if Old Dominion could beat them, any of these teams,
Right.
you're right, could beat them.
That's why we play the game. That's why the
Exactly.
game's
But I
played.
wanted my rankings.
No. No, you cannot just do whatever you want with your rankings. Like, let's look at... like.
It's not like I have a
let's-
5-loss team up there.
Yeah.
Let's look at strength of schedule. Like, don't just fucking throw these teams up to play nobody. Just because they're undefeated.
Everyone said UCF played nobody, but people are saying they have an argument.
All right, so when we get to fucking college basketball and Gonzaga's playing nobody, and they start beating everybody, I want to see them fucking skyrocket up your rankings.
They'll be numero uno.
Okay, thank you. That's all I want. All right, moving on.
Now that we got that settled.
Apparently, it's all about Gonzaga, and we're talking about football.
All about Gonzaga. I just don't feel they get enough love, and I.
Come college basketball season.
Yeah, that's all I want.
All right. Well, looking at last week's results, USC scraped by after being down as many as 13 in the second half to win, giving you and Corey the W in that one. And then Oregon got a bullshit call and then had a turnover, return for a touchdown, and started the swing of the old Mo, and Stanford won that one. Joe, when...
Can I tell you, Hank,
that Stanford game was so good. I was watching that game.
So I was watching the game. 2 minutes to go. Oregon goes up by 10. You know what I do? I shut the damn game off and I go to bed. wake up the next morning like, what the hell happened?
I couldn't believe
I probably
that.
just missed the greatest 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes of college football ever.
When I watched that overtime, and they picked off that fucking pass, I was like, "Thank you, God, thank you."
Bullshit. I was well on my way to going 4-1. And then the Pac-12 screwed me over. Yeah.
They were all that close.
You were so close. You were 1 win away from being 4-1. But you went 1-4. Makes no sense. Makes zero sense.
It does, because Washington State should have won.
I was highly impressed with Oregon performance.
Washington State should have won. Washington was pretty much in control of the whole Arizona State game, so that's all right. And then Iowa, they were tied, and then all of a sudden Wisconsin discovered how to play football again, so there's that.
Can I stick with the big boys, Kevin?
Do we all have to do shots because of Joe?
That's just NFL. That's just NFL.
Joe is just a regular 5-0 kind of guy.
Thank God.
So
Joe's only got 3 wrong.
We'd never made that deal with Joe.
Fresh
Joe
off.
will go 5-0 multiple times throughout the year.
Joe is fresh
not even
off
making that
his championship from last year, and he's starting off with a 17-3 record. I think it was a little closer last year at this point.
It was. He's red hot at this point.
There's no stopping Joe at this point.
True form.
Joe went, I'm in championship form last year. Yeah, I'm going to continue that. Yeah, I'm not going to stop. So he's just right back in.
He just wants to put it out of reach early.
He dialed in.
He took a little setback week 1, went 3-2. Okay.
You had to get a feel for
Second
the
week,
teams.
4-1, warming up. Now it's just 5-0, 5-0. Now I'm just gonna probably knock out another 5-0.
He's just sleeping the rest of the way.
Just gonna pull it right away. Week 5, it's over. We might as well just give him the trophy.
Might as well crown their ass. Any comments about week 4 other than what we've mentioned?
We all went with Buffalo, so that was smart of us.
Yeah.
Comments from week 4. I think we're seeing a really crazy start to college football, but more specifically, a really down year for the ACC. Everyone's saying down, or could it just be there's a little bit more evenness after Clemson and anybody can beat anyone, and all those bottom teams are starting to compete a little bit better, and the Louisville, Florida States are having a little bit of down year, and it's giving other teams an opportunity to have success that otherwise wouldn't have. I think the SEC East is Kentucky showing that they can play some football and compete in that league, and I'm looking for pretty excited for what they can do in that league. But I still think Georgia and Alabama are top-notch class. But if anyone's league after that, well, no issue. Over in the East, though, I think Kentucky's pretty much in the second place right now and just kind of taking care of business.
Taking care of business.
Taking care of business.
Other than that, I'm just looking forward to an exciting Saturday of college football. SU Clemson high noon, and then Notre Dame Stanford to cap off the night. Not
High
to
noon.
mention a whiteout in college, down there in Penn State. And that should be pretty exciting. Ohio State, Penn State, in the whiteout.
Well, let's start with that game, Joe. We've got our number 4 ranked team, Ohio State, going into Penn State, number 9 in our rankings.
Yeah, maybe you should keep them the same as the NFL, and you wouldn't have this problem.
I'm just glad I got it right this week, okay?
Stop. No, I got to go. Get down early, please.
Corey and I are taking Ohio State. Stefan's on the Penn State Happy Valley bandwagon. You think Urban Meyer in his second game back? Take one
Ohio State's too talented. It's gonna be close because it's in Penn State, but other than that, I don't think they have a chance. Penn State.
Wait, if Joe's picking them, I want to change my pick.
So Ohio State's gonna win.
I'm gonna just whatever Joe's picking, mirror that for me. Just change my whole thing to
But
whatever.
then you can never catch up.
I don't care. At least I'll be ahead of you guys.
You don't want to fall that far behind.
At least I'll be ahead of you guys.
I'm not changing your pick for you. I know you can.
I'm kidding. I don't want to change my pick. Penn State all the way. Let's go. Joe Paterno's angel coming through.
Our number 10 team in the nation is hosting Texas Tech. I'm torn with this one because I don't like West Virginia, but they're the Vegas favorites. ESPN's favoriting Texas Tech. Corey's going with Texas Tech, and Stefan's going with West Virginia. So just because of that, I'm going Texas Tech.
Further behind. I love it.
Gotta make a comeback.
You gotta make a comeback on the one game I have over you, or 2 games. Sorry.
Yeah, Joe, you got a pick?
West Virginia.
Damn it, Corey, we're screwed.
Yes. Let's go.
I think this is going to be a unanimous one. Virginia Tech, Duke.
Might not be. That Virginia Tech.
I think you guys are going with Duke or Virginia Tech.
Duke.
You guys are going with Duke, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
We're all off the Hokie bandwagon.
Got a little shake up here.
Vatek's going to come back and take care of business. Duke will be undefeated, but
coming off the Old Dominion loss. He likes them. Fuck, let me change. Hold up.
All right, and the big game.
I'm not liking the way my picture looking this week.
The big game on Saturday night is Notre Dame Stanford 7-8.
I think this is the game of the week right here. This
is game of the week. Can throw the blue highlight on it if you want. Corey and I are going Notre Dame. It's in Notre Dame. And Stefan's going Stanford.
Ride or die.
Well, guess what, Stefan? You're all alone.
All alone. I like it. My favorite. Got 2 games all alone this week. I love it.
I might be pulling a Lee Corso and psyching everybody out.
That's
okay. I think it's going to be Stanford also. Stanford's winning.
Oh, wait. Oh, you just pulled a fast one on us? Wow.
Ooh.
I like it.
Stanford's winning.
All right.
Yeah. I like my odds this week. I like them now.
The 5th and final game is crucial to us. Maybe not everyone else in the world, but we have our number 2 team, Clemson, hosting the number 25 ranked Syracuse Orange. Corey and Stefan have already picked Clemson.
Man, you know you're going to do it. Just do it, man.
Torn.
Listen, you went 1-4 last week. You might as well. Just let's go over 5.
Joe, who are you taking? I'll take the last one.
So a very intriguing game. Do I see a much improved Syracuse team? Absolutely. Offensive lines are much better. The defensive line is much better. Special teams much better. Now,
Now, to be real about this game, go ahead, Joe.
well, definitely is where we're headed. Trevor Lawrence is starting at quarterback. The kid is just he was the number one rated recruit in the nation for a reason. You know, I know is Syracuse going to win? No, absolutely not. Clemson's winning this game, and I still could see Clemson covering the spread.
Covering the spread. Wow.
Now, I also could see Syracuse making it competitive. I think Clemson's not going to be sleeping. SU's 4-0. Davil's going to have his team ready. Syracuse needs to play an A-plus game all the way around, with no drop passes. We can't get behind the chains on first and second down. Dungy's got to be smart, make smart decisions, stay in the game, stay healthy. Defense is going to have to disrupt Trevor Lawrence, and they're going to have to make mistakes in order for Cuse to win the game. Is it a possibility? Yes. Is Syracuse improved, and could it go a different way? We'll see Saturday. But just looking at straight-up matchups, Clemson is still the superior team, and they're playing on the road. Now, if this game was in the Dome, would I think differently?
Absolutely. I agree.
Probably. I think I would. I think SU would definitely cover the spread and have a chance to win the game up here. But going down there after what happened last year.
What's it called? Desert Valley?
Death Valley.
What's that?
Death Valley.
Death Valley. So I could definitely see Clemson winning 45 to 20.
So they don't cover
Something
the
like
spread.
that.
They do.
They do.
It's 23.
I thought he just said 35-20.
45.
45. Sorry. Misheard.
Someone can't do math here.
I misheard. Yeah, I thought he said 35.
So we'll see.
All right.
Come on, Kevin. Unveil that great pick of yours.
We're
Really
4-0.
First in your 1-4 week last week.
We're all going Clemson, Kevin. We know
We're
it.
4-0.
Not really, though.
But we're going 4-1. I can't do it. I can't pull the trigger.
Can't pull the trigger.
I can't wear the hats. Unfortunately, I do think it's closer than what Joe says. I think it's going to be 41-38, something like that. It's going to be a shootout. Clemson's defense has been eating up cupcakes left and right, and I think it's time they meet a real offense.
What did you say about Clemson's defense? You broke up.
They've been eating cupcakes left and right, so I think it's time they see a real offense. And they can't have
the cupcakes are producing four first round or four and a draft picks on that front four. So our line has improved, but we know what happens with our line when we play good competition. We suck.
I didn't call the defense cupcakes. I said they've been eating cupcakes.
Yeah.
I'm also the only one that has them ranked number 1, so I can't sit there and be like, oh, the 25 team's going to beat the 1 team. So I couldn't pull the trigger. It's going to either go 2 ways for me. I still have stuff to rub it in your face why Clemson's number 1. Or I'm going to have stuff to say Syracuse should be in the top 25. So that's all I got. Anything else for you before we let you go, Joe?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well,
I don't think so. It's going to be an exciting college football weekend. I was going to bring up some NFL stuff in Tampa Bay, but I think I jinxed Tampa last night.
yeah. Thanks.
I thought Fitzy was about to make a little comeback and do some stuff, and next thing I know, he gets picked or something. So I was going to ask if you think if they should stick with Fitzpatrick or play with Jameis, but I think he play the starter.
I think you ride with Fitzpatrick till he fully goes bust. I don't think he's gone full bust yet.
No, I mean, he still put up 411 yards last night,
Yeah.
even in a losing effort. So, absolutely.
And your
All right,
Giants
guys.
gotta win.
On the Giants stuff.
All right, Joe. Have a good night.
You too, guys.
Take it easy. All right. Well, since just Corey and Kevin right now, let's talk about Big Brother. We're coming into the final.
Last
finale.
episode was boring, but
Yeah, the review always is. I didn't really leave and watch it. I've gotten like halfway through it.
yeah, I didn't watch it.
But
I don't even know why they do the review. We saw it.
yeah, we had a shocker on Thursday, or was it Wednesday? Wednesday.
Shocker.
JC won an HOH.
Yeah. Randomly, finally winning an HOH, further pushing the gay agenda that CBS has been doing.
Ooh, conspiracy theories are lit.
Absolutely. I don't think it's a surprise to me that Casey and JC are both in the final.
Interesting. I mean,
Also, I don't know if you caught it, but on Julie Chen's sign-off, she used her full name.
well, yeah, because her husband just got kicked.
Yes, exactly. I thought that was the first time she's ever done it in the history of, since they've been married.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was no coincidence. I think it was like her kind of putting the point that she's standing by her husband. Julie Chen Moonves signing off.
Julie Chen Moonves. Trying to find Casey saying "Let's go." That's gonna be a new thing. Whoa.
Porn. There's a sex tape going on right now? What's going on? You walked in on porn.
Man,
All right.
I tuned in.
That wasn't the good clip, apparently.
What do you even watch?
We were watching Big Brother.
Oh, okay.
That's what you missed last week. Jeez.
Apparently.
So we have JC, Tyler, and Casey. Honestly, so I think I know spoilers, so I'm not gonna ruin it. I don't know if you know him, Corey, or not.
No, I haven't looked them up.
Okay. But if you were to take a guess at who won competitions, it'd be fair to say Tyler and Casey are the favorites going in. And honestly, if you were one of them, who would you choose? Other alliance aside, if you were Tyler, who would you take with you?
If I was Tyler, I would take JC.
Mm-hmm. And if
I was Casey, I wouldn't fear taking anybody because I think she beats everyone.
Yep. And then JC is just screwed no matter what.
JC's screwed. Yeah. I think he has to take Tyler because of what I just said. Casey beats anybody.
Yeah.
I think he has to take Tyler and just really
hope he screwed over some people.
Yes, really. Well, Tyler did making all those final two. That's why Casey definitely has it in the bag.
Right.
Yeah.
And Tyler's in trouble.
I think Tyler's screwed at the end of the day. Like, I don't think he has a chance to win
Right.
regardless.
So I think what JC has to somehow prove, he was running a great social game and aligning himself with the right people, making moves behind closed doors, which he was doing, but Tyler was doing more of it. So Tyler still would deserve the win over JC, but JC would have to try to sell that to the panel to get a win over Tyler if it comes down to those two.
I'm also wondering what Angela is telling the jury. Well, first of all, if the jury's actually listening to her, but figuring out JC, I think, was a big thing for Tyler. And if it came down to him versus JC, if Angela was able to sit there and be like, listen, you guys are out because of JC. And convince them. Because really, honestly, a lot of those moves were because of JC.
That's why I think JC could. Like, that's why I'm thinking he has an argument at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, if they're all mad at him for it. JC and Sam, believe it or not, swung a lot of votes.
Yeah. They were the swingers.
Right. Some episodes were a little awkward with the two of them, but for the most part, they were the swingers.
I'm surprised Sam went down as gently as she did. I didn't see any doors getting ripped off or anything.
Yeah, no one got curb stomped.
God. Blood stomp or whatever else she said. Jesus. Psycho. Who out of the three do you like the most, though?
Tyler.
I like Casey. I like the fact that she's winning all these things.
I think that's got to be a record. I haven't looked into it. Someone winning 5 vetoes in a row.
Yeah.
The only one I could think of that would have a chance is Frank back in his first season. But I don't know if even he won 5 vetoes in a row. I'm sure there's someone who's won 5 vetoes in a season, but in a row is crazy.
I like the game that Tyler played. I think he played it very smart. And, you know, he won his fair share of competitions and played a great social game. I feel like played a great mind game with everybody. Casey, I feel like played a phenomenal, especially towards the end, like just demolishing people. She won like veto after veto after veto. And JC, like I feel like he didn't win that many comps, but to still end up in the top 3, like he obviously did. So it's like it's tough to.
He aligned himself with Fessy when it made sense because Fessy and Haley were the last 2 of that alliance, so that worked for him. And then he was like, "All right, I got to find a way to get to the other side." Aligned with Brett for a little bit until Brett got blindsided, and that's when the whole JC Tyler thing got shaken up because JC didn't like that he wasn't told about the blindside move on Brett. But then JC tried to align himself with Tyler, and to me, they don't really see eye to eye right now. So it's kind of JC versus the house.
Yeah.
If it's hard to tell based off of what I'm looking at, but if I'm reading correctly, I'm guessing Casey's won the most power of vetoes for one season. Because I'm looking at the record for most vetoes, and it's for people that have played more than 1 year. So, and her 5 would place her tied for 3rd with that group. So,
yeah.
And the most is 7. So,
yeah, I feel like she definitely beat it.
Who has the most? Just Paul?
Janelle Perzina, which is from like Big Brother 14, All Stars, and Big Brother 6, so the early years.
Oh, wow.
Jeff has 4. And then Johnny Mack made the list with 4, too.
Wow, so Frank doesn't have those vetoes.
No. And also fun facts. Let's look. I forgot about Victoria. She's got the second most noms to be with 10. Forgot how they used her. But most time spent without being nominated in a single season, obviously, Derek. And then...
Did he never get nominated?
Nope.
That's crazy.
He went the whole season not getting nominated and won.
Wow.
It's the most dominant season ever.
It's a phenomenal social game he got there.
I think it's pretty much argued.
Did you guys vote him as your favorite or as your top?
We debated it, but it's too hard because we only saw Derek for one season. Like, that's an amazing run. But you saw Paul make it all the way to the end and lose in the final, and then come back the next year as like the only all-star amongst a brand new group of kids and make it all the way to the final again
and lose again. So
I just feel like I accredited doing it twice more than someone.
So getting to championships is a great thing.
in this instance.
Oh, just in this instance, not in sports.
Not in sports.
Wow, that's interesting. We'll have to debate on that at some point.
Ooh, I found a record book here. Most power veto wins. So yeah, 5 is the most. You have Paul, some chick named Danny, and then the Janelle I had mentioned earlier.
Okay. Casey takes it.
Casey, it
Beast.
is. She just straight up went beast mode towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
and
She just all of a sudden was like, I'm gonna win everything now.
My time to dominate.
Honestly, like in the beginning of the season, like I didn't really think she was that much of a threat.
No, me either. Which is that gameplay,
Yeah,
or was that her just figuring things out?
right.
One thing I will say, Derek's advice when he had been interviewed, the guy who went pretty much, if you want to call it undefeated the whole season, said a few things that he would have done differently because he thinks Tyler's a really good player. Is one, not make bets that you can't cash in on. So making all those deals, final twos, he wouldn't have had so many of them. Because and Derek did only make one final two with Cody, and it went all the way. And the other thing was, every single time there is a going away message, to always say something positive about that person on your way out. Just so because you got to remember always in that house that any one of these people at any time could be a jury member. So you always want them to think of you positively. And I was just thinking, like, Derek's gameplay was so deep like that. He was thinking that far ahead of everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like Casey doesn't have any bad blood on her hands.
No, she doesn't. Because everyone she ever nominated her.
Right. I mean, at the same time, JC, like, never really was head of household, was he?
Just that once, the one win he got.
Yeah.
And he took out Angela, right?
I mean, obviously he had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, but... And I think Tyler just making all the deals he made, and then obviously none of them were really true deals, you know?
Yeah. I'm kind of... What do you think he would have done if it really came down to him, Angela, and Casey? He kept saying Casey was his real number one. Do you think he stayed true to that, or do you think he gave in and would take Angela?
I think he would have... The fact that he confessed in his goodbye to Angela, I think he would have taken Casey.
What did he confess?
He just said that he had a final 2 deal with Casey, and then there was one other thing that was just like...
He said they did it day 2.
Yeah,
they had a final 2 together, so he would have went with Casey. And she didn't even seem that upset. She said, that's fair. I understand people make deals real early in the game. What she doesn't know is that he had a final 2 with like 3 other people. So
I don't know.
Oh, but you didn't have a final 2 with me, huh?
I feel like that would have like tore him up though, like to have to like choose between
I do too.
Casey and Angela.
Because yes, you make a deal with someone on day 2, but you don't expect to fall in love and like someone either.
Yeah, and that would have, because obviously like that kind of almost like changes things. In
Right,
the
that changes things a little bit.
You know, like, oh, like you were supposed to bring me to the final 2 and then you didn't. Because, like, literally, if they went to the final 2, you're both benefiting from that. Because now, if you guys end up being together after the show,
yeah, one gets 50, one gets 250, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like at that point, like, I don't know. Like, if it was me and I was, like, that serious about somebody, I'd take that person.
You would think. I don't know.
Because you're almost guaranteed to benefit from it no matter what.
My other question is he, even though he's still in the game, is he still up for fan favorite?
Yeah.
Flair? So he could still win that 20 grand on top of everything?
I hope
because I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Who do you think is the America's favorite contestant this year?
He was the very first one to get voted as
He got the first app?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Sam got the
did.
first one.
Sam got the first one, but
Sam
that was
got
because
the
everyone felt bad for her. Because she was a
everyone
robot.
felt bad for her.
And then she turned out to be a psycho, so maybe they'll just nominate. I don't want her killing me. No, honestly, it's in my opinion, in no particular order, I would say Tyler, Haley, or Brett. I think those are going to be your final three.
Brett's my favorite.
Brett's my favorite.
Brett,
He honestly needs to write speeches for people.
Brett, you are more than welcome on this podcast once you get out.
I not only want him to write speeches for me, but I also want him to speak them for me.
You want him to perform them.
He's got a career in that.
He's got it. I think he's got a career in TV.
He's
a big person.
If he doesn't end up in a movie or a TV show at some point, then my life is I don't want to live. I don't want to live. I need more Brett.
More Brett.
I need more Brett in my life. I don't care if it's the worst show ever.
Even his lies were like amazing.
I don't care if it's that fucking
on my daughter's birthday.
I don't care.
Well, you said it. He did.
He was all in on it. All in. Yeah,
At that point, I'm sure inside he was feeling like an ass, but he just had to do it.
You said it.
But he might be one of those guys that really doesn't feel like an ass. He's just like,
he might not care.
If I remember from his intro video, yeah, he is that guy.
Yeah.
So I don't think he really feels like that.
Oh, did you see the... Oh, no, because you didn't watch the whole thing. The whole review episode. Like the part where they're showing how they always do, everyone crying in the diary room. And they got Brett going, if I ever cry... I'll never cry in this booth. And if you cry, I'm glad. And I'm happy you did. And then they keep showing Rockstar crying in the diary room.
Oh, that's true. He's probably the only one that didn't cry.
He was, because Fessel did, Tyler did.
Yep.
A lot of the boys did.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't.
You know what? If he ended up in a movie, like that movie that...
He would be like good in like Euro Trip.
No. Remember that movie that What's-His-Face just redid? It was like the worst movie ever.
Oh, yeah, James Franco.
Yeah, James Franco.
The Room or
like
whatever.
if he ended up in a movie like the original,
the original Batman. Yeah.
I would still watch it just because Brett's in it. And I don't even care how awful it is. I would watch it just because of Brett.
It'd be funny nonetheless, I'm sure. They might bring him back because he has such a big personality for like All-Stars or something.
We're due for an All-Star season here.
Well, the problem is if you keep doing All-Stars, eventually you got to have a season where there is none so you can make some more All-Stars.
Yeah, but I haven't had one since I started watching, so...
Not a full-out All-Star season, no. We had Paul last year.
Yeah, Paul, what's-his-face? The Asian dude there.
Yeah, and before that, with
Nicole.
with the Asian guy you had, Nicole.
Race. That's all you know him as, is the Asian dude.
Can't think of his name.
Can't think of a name.
It's very American.
Yeah. Oh God, that's gonna bug me too.
Something very American.
Big.
We getting into NASCAR yet? We talking about NASCAR yet?
Not yet.
Let's get into NASCAR. Fuck this
right.
brother shit. Nobody cares.
It's time
Richmond.
for Corey's NASCAR update.
Holy Ghost.
Oh, James is his name.
James.
Oh,
Very American.
There you go. Very American. American as you can get.
So we had Richmond, the second race of the playoffs, short track. Not dominated by Kyle Busch, but eventually won by Kyle Busch. Kind of held in the lower top 10 most of the time.
Is that why I didn't get like
any points?
Yeah.
Because he was like 11th. So I should say the lower 12 the whole time. And then he won the race, which gave him 40 points. Keselowski riding that hot streak, tried to fend off Kyle Busch for as long as he could. Kyle was able to take the lead. It was a good battle for the win. Obviously, Keselowski's on fire. Word out of Penske is they figured out their cars. So look out for Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano to start winning races here. Also,
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team fucking here. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah. Shout out to Kevin, who started from the bottom. Is now in second.
Still 50 behind, so I'm okay.
Still 50 behind. I'm 58 behind or something like that. Anyways,
I think it's like 47 behind me or something like that.
So Kevin is now in second and trying for that top spot. Interesting race. The Charlotte Roval, a road course.
I don't like it.
Brand new. No one's ever raced it. There's been some practices on it, but no racing. So there is 0 stats for this course. So we were all going by feel. You guys probably made the smarter picks by taking 2 of the top 3 drivers in NASCAR. I'm definitely probably trying to stay on the bottom.
But if you really think about it, like, your strategy is not terrible because the likelihood, you were saying, what was it?
The only reason, here was my strategy with this track.
You were saying that how many people crashed in practice?
10 out of 13.
Yeah. So realistically, there's probably going to be crashes.
There's going to be crashes because you're going to have a lot of people inexperienced. This plays into my pick. My idea was, okay, I need to take someone who's older on the circuit. So my first thought was Jimmy Johnson. He's the oldest good driver available, and he's also in fear of being eliminated from the playoffs. He's second to last. So he's got to race his ass off.
Right.
And he's always a very...
So this is elimination week?
This is elimination. So he's a very cautious driver, and I was like, man, I should take him. And I was like, but he just hasn't done anything this year. He was just good enough to get into the playoffs. Kurt Busch can win races. He's won. Road course driver, then Jimmy, and he's also older. So I was like, I'll just switch. I'll go Kurt. I'll save. I couldn't take Truex. That's what I wanted to take.
Yeah.
I would have been taking the 3 best drivers right out the gate anyways. So I avoided that.
Harvick didn't work out. So.
Harvick didn't work out for me. Harvick worked out for Kevin.
Hopefully it works out for me.
Probably will. I need a sneak attack. I need to take someone that's a surprise, and so I went with Kurt Busch.
They do elimination every 3 weeks.
Every 3. So you're gonna
until
have
you get to the championship.
Correct. Then you're gonna have 4 drivers in Miami racing for the championship.
Gotcha.
Because we started with 16. So after this race, 4 are gone. After Dover, Talladega, Kansas, 4 are gone. After Martinsville, Texas, Phoenix, 4 are gone. You're left with 4.
So is this new track built inside the original like Charlotte track?
No.
No? Oh.
It's its whole new thing.
Sorry, I was waiting for this ad to finish to actually see what it looks like.
Interesting, I guess. There's actually walls, double-sided lane wall. You know what I mean? Walls on both sides of the drive at certain points in the racetrack. The tough part, like I said to you guys off the air, is that it turns into double wide, where you could actually like really race, and that's where people are going to crash getting aggressive. There's also some turns that are a little wider than most road courses.
I see a lot of accidents happening on that first turn. Holy
Yes. There's also some turns that are a little wide where if someone's trying to get overly aggressive, like I mentioned, Kyle Busch or Keselowski, they're very known for that. They could cause some accidents on the turn.
I feel like I'm watching an Forza race here. Jesus.
Are you off the ad or are you looking at the course?
Yeah, they're driving around.
Yeah. It's interesting. I kind of want to watch it because it's just a course I've never seen before. So we'll see. It's on NBC. I might get to it.
Sunday.
Maybe. At least just turn over for a little bit and see what's going on. Go back to football. Or
go back to football.
Or if we go to B-dubs, we could always ask for it to be on one TV while the others are on.
We'll talk to Jess. See what she can do for us.
Shout out to
she comes later. She comes in later in the day.
Well, we wanted to see the 4-o'clocker anyways. Oakland Browns.
Oh yeah. Well, I want to watch the Eagles.
Are they at 1?
Probably. Fuck.
Who are you playing?
I don't even know.
You don't even know you're
I
playing.
don't even know we're playing. Yeah, we're playing the
Titans.
So yeah, it's gonna be a winner.
We're gonna be there at 1. Hopefully, I'll be back by then.
Why was this race course built?
Just
because
I don't know.
They had
just
nothing
because.
better to do.
Yeah, more road courses needed. besides the two that they do.
It's not really
Also,
a
another
road-
sleeper pick.
I thought Poconos was a road course. It's not.
No.
No,
Pocono's the triangle.
it's triangle.
It's the only one that there's not 4 turns.
Is that what you're considered a road course?
No.
4 turns.
No.
No, it's a
road-
racetrack. It's the only racetrack without 4 turns.
Right. It has. Oh, well, it's the only one that has less than 4.
Yeah, less than 4.
It's the only one with 3 turns. Watkins Glen and Sonoma are the road courses. They have like 13 turns.
So what has 4 turns?
Every other race.
No, it's not true. It's 1 giant turn. Those are 2 turns.
They count the corners.
That's 2 turns. I'm sorry.
They count them as 4.
Oh, that's dumb. That's why I don't like NASCAR.
Okay.
But I like to win it.
Besides the fact that most drivers have 2 first names.
Okay. Brad Keselowski.
No. It's starting to dwindle, but Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon.
Go either way, though.
Danica Patrick.
Could be Tony Jeff.
It can't be. It can't be. Stewart Tony. That's not a
be.
name.
Could be. Regardless, I will dominate as always.
Yeah, you haven't dominated yet.
No, I haven't. I'm not. I'm staying consistent. I'm not.
You're going down, yeah.
I had a bad one. Kevin's coming in hot first 2 weeks.
Super.
Well, he's going to be using 3 of the best.
Kevin probably blew his load a little too early, so
He's going to be using 3 of the top 4 drivers right out the gate, and he may even use the top 4.
yeah,
He might say,
never-
"F it, I'm taking Kyle
Fuck
Busch
it.
at Dover."
Fuck it.
why not?
Gotta get back in this thing somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
Got nothing to lose. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to come out on top this week.
It's getting interesting.
It's a little closer than I like it to be. not a fan of this. I mean, it was different last year because last year I was playing from behind and having to play catch up. So like, there was more excitement about it, Now it's like
Now
I just
you're
gotta
worried.
maintain, like, not have a crash.
Now you're in
Not
my
have
shoes from last year. I was
Yeah.
worried all chase.
I honestly think it's worse being in the lead.
Yeah. You don't want to be that
not
guy.
Just that 100-point cushion, but like it's.
I wouldn't
possible.
know, guys.
You would never.
I
know.
wouldn't know.
Nah, you would never know. Your
Sorry.
strategy would
All
never
right,
work.
Corey, you can leave for this conversation. This is between Steph and I.
This is for NASCAR professionals.
I don't know
only.
the stress of
This
of
is
that.
for NASCAR experts only, and you're not one of them. So
Fantasy expert, at least.
yeah.
What's sad is I got like 11 or 13 or some absurd amount of weeklies,
You did get
and
a
I
lot of
didn't win.
11.
11.
Yeah.
Even had 2 wins. Kevin had 3. Shot his load early though.
Yeah, he did.
Couldn't come back.
He had 3 actual winners.
That's what I mean.
You had
Even
2
I had
actual
2,
winners.
and you had 1.
I had 1.
And so far, we've had someone. Someone might break the streak or continue the streak. We've had someone.
I think it's gonna be somebody random, like Eric Almirola or whatever. Almirola.
Yeah, he's in the chase. He could.
Or Eric Johnson.
Bauer. Bowman.
Eric
Jones, whatever his name is.
could be.
Brad Johnson.
That's kind of why I went Kurt Busch.
Brad Johnson.
Hopefully, a
might win it.
rando gets in there.
Brad Johnson.
That's what she said. Ba-dum-bum.
The quarterback from the Bucks.
Yeah, I know who he is.
He's in NASCAR now.
Sounds like a NASCAR driver.
Does.
Brad Johnson?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Throw Brad Johnson. I bet you'd be good. Sounds like the kind of name that would be good.
It does.
He won a Super Bowl.
Listen, if you could win a Super Bowl, you might as well just win a NASCAR.
You might as
race.
well try NASCAR out at
Yeah.
least.
Why not?
Got nothing to lose.
Brett Favre, NASCAR driver.
Favre.
Yeah.
Favre.
Absolutely.
Listen here, Mr. Favre.
Well,
All right. On that note, Kevin.
Apparently.
we're actually going to finish around.
Wrap her up.
Hey, do you know what next week is? Episode 90.
Next week, Bracket Boys.
If you have one.
Yeah, we'll wait.
We'll go 3 hours. Why not?
I think next week I was going to throw this out to you guys. Let's do I think every 4 weeks. Let's do a little top 5 power ranking of NFL teams. How do you guys feel about that? Just your top 5. No, not that top 5.
Oh.
What a top 5.
Damn it. I missed that top 5, though.
We can use the music. We can use the music. I'm okay with that.
But I missed that top 5.
I know. I kind of miss it, too, actually. Might bring it back.
Baby, come back.
Might bring it back.
I'll work on bracket ideas, too.
Yeah,
We'll do a rotating. How about that? On the fly.
Rotating top 5?
Yeah, every 4 weeks. Seems fair.
Wait, so you don't want us all to do a top 5?
No, we all do top 5, I thought.
Yeah.
Rotating what then?
Yeah, what are you rotating?
Rotating like so we'll do top 5 next week. Bracket boys in a couple weeks. And then another top 5 in 4 weeks.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Rotating the bracket in the top 5.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Every 2 weeks.
Every 2.
Well, we'll try and come up with other things maybe and fill it in, just so it's not just all that.
Yeah. We'll figure shit out.
Mm-hmm. Maybe have Brett on the show.
Yeah.
Guy's got a couple $100. I think he
might cost more than that at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like he's top dollar now.
A couple thousand.
At least a G.
Yeah, at least a G.
Got a couple hundo.
I could probably do a reenactment of Brett, though.
You know, we could entice him probably with like some beer, maybe.
I bet you
he likes some beer.
Yeah. I feel like
probably his beers.
Yeah.
Probably not these ones.
Not these.
Natty Lights and stuff. Yeah.
He seems like an IPA kind of guy.
He seems like someone Stefan would want to hang out with.
I would absolutely hang out with him. I feel like me and him would get along great. I feel like I would have been the Winston to his Winston.
Yeah. Fair enough.
There you go. On that note, it's always cool.
Side note, love you, Brett. A-Town.